All right, and we're live, and we're here with White Boys Summer Apparel, Max from White Boys Summer Apparel, and I got some bad news. Adam has quit the show. He's got a new position. His particular chosen candidate, Chase Oliver, of the Libertarian Party, he's going to be pursuing a position in his cabinet. So, everybody,
congrats, Adam.
Good on my man there.
Okay, so
sticking to his guns.
So someone's got to bring the property values down around there, I guess.
Yeah, so that's what Adam's doing today. So he's gone, and then Typo is white trash. It doesn't have power. So it's just us and WBS. The position is bottom. What the hell does that mean, man? Regardless, okay, here we go. Max, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
Sam, good to see you as always, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh my
shit.
God.
Oh, shit.
Look at Typo.
Number
Typo,
five.
you have no audio.
What up, dude?
There it
I just
is.
said
There
that
it
you were
is.
white
No, you're
trash.
there.
I just said that you were white trash.
I had a necklace and a backwards hat and a Jaws shirt on. I thought I looked white trash, but fucking Typo showed me up here, man.
Dude, I was at Walmart buying some ice because I thought my fridge was going to come back on today. And I saw this hat, and I was like, I'm going to get this for the podcast.
Fuck yeah.
Fantastic. So, yeah, we had some crazy shit go down in the Libertarian Party. Yeah, we're past the beginning. And we were going to talk about something else last week. What was it? It doesn't matter. It's old news now. We're working on 1 week time cycles.
I do have a
week it might
video
be
that we
China.
have. Sorry, yeah, I
It's
do have a
better.
video that we have to show after this that will hopefully make everybody laugh. But yeah, no, go ahead, play this one.
Sweet. So this is Trump getting booed at the rally, at the convention, rather. Oh, the free Ross, that's a Bitcoin guy. Dude, look at his face. He hates that.
Yeah,
You know he hates that.
he hates it.
I
Despises
know he
it.
ain't used to it.
Wait a minute. This is from the Associated Press. They cut it right when they started chanting Donald Trump. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
No.
It sounded like a mixed crowd.
There has never been a group of people
Yeah, definitely
treated
mixed.
so harshly or well, in the last year, I've been indicted by the government on 91 different things. So if I wasn't a libertarian before, I sure as hell am a libertarian
Dude, he
now.
knows his audience.
It's so good.
Trump
It's
really
so
is
good.
like the greatest politician we've had in recent memory. Like he knows how to fucking talk to the people and tell everybody exactly what they want. It's impressive, and people buy it up. I admire it to actually a decent degree.
Yeah.
He's good. This motherfucker don't miss.
I'm honestly surprised he showed up to this, but I mean,
Yeah,
So
I
A little
was
bit
too.
too. Yeah.
It was
I
kind of
was-
out of nowhere.
have
yeah,
you guys
that's-
noticed? It's a really weird election year, like
It is.
unprecedented, and just nothing really rhymes. I mean, has this happened before? This kind of stuff? Yeah, sure. But in terms of our government and our American elections, like this is pretty weird this year.
It is weird.
I think
You're not wrong.
I think that kind of I think it kind of shifted during 2020. You know, obviously with everything that happened that year, but like I think from there we're kind of on like I don't want to say shaky ground, but sort of shaky ground where like every single election there's going to be like a curveball or just things are going to play out different than they traditionally have. And I think it's going to constantly be up the ante where like shit just gets more and
Yeah.
more extreme.
For sure.
Agreed. And we'll see. There's a loss of legitimacy for elections when things don't go as planned, and that kind of tends to build over time. But like right now, if it's not Trump or Biden, and they're already like bad on legitimacy for a number of reasons, then it could end up bad. But yeah, what's this video?
Well, and honestly, the like question of legitimacy, that's a lot of that comes because of Donald Trump. Because he
Yeah.
like straight up
Yep.
refused to like agree with like the results of the last election, and that's just not normal. Like that is unprecedented. Like everyone else in our lifetime and before, like even if like like Gore, that was a big one back in 2000. Like it was kind of a weird election. The what was it? The Supreme Court ultimately decided it for Florida or whatever it was. But in the end, Gore was like, "Oh, I lost. I hope the president does good." And Trump just never did that. He was just like, "No."
Even Hillary ceded it to Trump the night of. Like even she did, and she has her shit now where she's coming back out against it. But even she, the night of, or I guess the next day, was like, I lost. Congrats to the new president, Donald Trump." Everything else, and he was just like, "Yeah, no, I didn't lose. They rigged it."
Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm the best.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the typical Trump thing, but yeah, Trump and it was the whole. One funny thing to note about that whole deal too is that it was all lock her up, and then he turned around as soon as he got elected, and said, we're not going to worry about that," and they were cool afterwards, at least for a brief period. But the video I pulled up here was from I think most of the people from our sphere's preferred candidate when it came to the Libertarian Party, if not Michael Rechtenwald, then Josh Smith. I would have pulled the lever for Josh Smith if I was there, but I was too busy drinking monsters on the river and kayak, and so
more important things, to be honest.
Yeah, more important stuff, honestly. But so this was Michael Rechtenwald's Joe Biden moment, which it was pretty bad.
I mean, Donald is never mind. But listen.
One more time. Oh my God, kills me. Look at that face.
I mean, Donald never mind.
Dude, insane.
It gets funnier every time.
There's a thread out there. I can't find it right now, but there's a thread out there, and so he told somebody afterwards that he got given an edible.
Yep.
And he was high the whole fucking time, and that's why he ended up walking out halfway through. And it's like he knew it was an edible, like he knew it was an edible. It wasn't like he got fucking. Hoodwinked about it. He knew it was an edible, took the edible, and then was fucked up beyond belief, couldn't talk, and then walked out because the questions were boring. I think the dude just got too high. I think he honestly got too high and was like, I can't be in front of...
That was probably like some...
Yeah,
he got an edible and got high. He even admitted this, and it was reported. Yep. Matt Walsh even shared a thread about it. And was like,
did he really?
Making fun of the Libertarian Party for it.
So embarrassing.
Never
I'm sorry, dude.
I've been there. I took an edible, and I just couldn't talk. But I never ran for fucking president. So
he literally did. He literally did the Biden thing of bailing on a sentence. That was the funniest part. Mid-sentence. Never mind.
Donald, skibbity doo. Never mind.
I should give you some context that this podcast is rooted in the Mises Caucus, which is why we have so much autism.
Yeah, well, I just follow a lot of those guys. So, all the annoying inside baseball stuff, like it just came out, and especially one's like the complete failure, I would say, for the Libertarian Party with like the Mises Caucus, at least for their presidential nomination. They just got dogpiled on Twitter. Like it was just there was no stopping him.
Deserved.
So okay, so you know what, and I remember I had Pat McFarlane, Connor Freeman, and Reed Coverdale on my show about a week before I got married. Yeah, all those guys are great, especially Reed. But
Reed's awesome.
So it was probably about a week before I got married. So this would have been early November, maybe late October of 2022. And so this was about 5 or 6 months after the whole takeover of the Libertarian Party deal, right? And I remember Pat had said, and I couldn't find it in the podcast, so it might have been off air that he said it. He said that the Mises Caucus takeover felt dead on arrival. And I think that was pretty it almost seemed a little too soon for him to say that, but then I think everybody kind of knew that right out of, very shortly after that was the truth, and especially without Dave announcing. So when Dave didn't immediately announce that he was running for president, or at least kind of give more indications that he was going to do it in that time frame of the takeover, and then a couple months afterwards, I think all the air in the room was just gone. I mean, like all the hype and everything just exactly disappeared, and there was nobody to take it up. And then finally, about 8 months down the line, Dave finally said, "Hey, I'm not running," which is like fine. But though the problem was is that they literally had no backup plan. There was no plan B. There was nothing to go off from there. So the consolation prize was Michael Rechtenwald, who everybody saw blatantly through. Well-educated dude, well-spoken.
It was a Joe Jorgensen thing. It felt like Joe Jorgensen all over.
He was like the LPMC's version of Joe Jorgensen, just boring, but knew he was good on the issues, but just like he wasn't the guy for the job.
Yeah.
So of course going into the convention, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say I had a call with Michael Heiss probably 3 to 4 months before the convention where we were taking over, and he told me straight up that they were going to do Dave Smith, Maj Touré probably for VP. And I was like, that's dope. I was like, and he told me, he's like, we're not expecting to win. Like, that's not the point of this. Yeah. And it shouldn't be the point of the LPMC to win the election. Like, that's not what we're there for currently. It was, we want to get them up on debates. We want to get them in front of the press. They both can and have already done that. And that's the point, is like, we're putting these guys as the face of what libertarianism is. And Maj is kind of like an in-betweener on that, but he was like at the height of his shit when that was going down.
Pair, dude. That's a good.
It was a great pair. It was a phenomenal pair for like the liberty mind. You have an outspoken inner city black dude. Yeah. Outspoken inner city black dude. That's huge on fucking guns. And then you have Dave Smith, a funny comedian that goes on everywhere from Joe Rogan to Tucker Carlson. I was like, it was when that didn't get announced afterwards and people started going after Maj and then we were just confused on what Dave was doing. Like it's like you said, it was dead on arrival and nobody cared.
Right, and that's exactly what happened. And then literally our consolation prize was Michael Rechtenwald, who once again I like, but though, I mean, this just shows a complete and utter failure of the Libertarian Party Mises Caucus. And I had posted this tweet back in, I want to say, August of 23. I said, if Chase Oliver is the nominee for the Libertarian Party, then the Mises Caucus takeover was all for nothing. And I didn't think it was going to happen, but then here we are. We have a dude who wears a mask, and then not to mention we have Mike Termott, who is like, his instincts are basically Joe Biden's when it comes to foreign policy. The day that Iran had struck Israel, he condemned Iran for it, not knowing anything about, like, speaking to larger conflict. When it comes to China and Taiwan, he said we need to have strategic clarity when it comes to Taiwan, which departs from one of the actually good State Department policies of having strategic ambiguity between Taiwan and China, which basically tells China
a 60 to 70 year policy, by the way.
Exactly, right. And it's actually, it works because we tell Taiwan we're not going to come to, or you don't know if we'll come defend you if China comes to invade, and China don't go invade because you don't know if we'll come to defend Taiwan. This kind of helps keep the peace and keeps us ambiguous, where he said he wants to end strategic ambiguity and move towards strategic clarity. So, I mean, we're talking about a dude. Both these people fell for the COVID propaganda a year afterwards. A year after March of 2020, they were still biting on the COVID propaganda. Horrible on foreign policy. Not to mention Chase kind of lines up with the Democrats when it comes to all the cultural issues, and he is pro-choice.
He's a former Democrat.
Yes. So we literally...
Democrat, all for the COVID tyranny. He wants, like, for kids having those drugs. He's for, transitioning kids. I got this video of him. This is all Chase Oliver, man. This is the Libertarian Party nominee. This guy, right?
Why do you think that the drag queens want to read to children? Because I think that they are performance artists and they want to be able to have different levels of performance art. It's the same reason as why do the Wiggles sing to children? Because they want to have a marketplace to kids.
Chase,
They want to be able to. They want to be
the
able
Wiggles.
to.
The Wiggles is made for children. It's obviously family friendly material. Drag queens are not what you call family friendly kind of entertainment.
Okay, but a man in a dress is what drag is, right? Let's just be real. A man in a dress or a woman in a suit is what drag is.
Mm-hmm.
That is not inherently sexual. There is inherently sexual drag, and you're not going to convince me. I mean, I'm not going to defend otherwise.
Okay, so I don't need to listen.
Yeah,
to this
it's
guy
just
talk
dumb.
all the time,
It's
but-
just dumb because all right, so like I talk a little bit about this stuff because I grew up in this stuff. My parents are lesbians. Like I grew up with this shit
Oh, I forgot
around.
about that.
Yeah, so like it's just dumb. Like that's just a dumb thing to make because if you type in drag queen story hour, like
I mean,
you did here,
I literally typed in drag queen story hour and went to images to see what it looked like.
is there a single one that's not overtly sexual in this? Like,
I mean,
and I get
it
it.
seems
that-
fine. I don't know why the kid's
Yeah.
touching him, but like, this doesn't
Yeah,
seem
I mean,
that bad to me. But like, still, it's weird. Why?
I'm more concerned about why these people want to be around children to do this kind of stuff. That's my fucking question.
Why is it such a need? Why? That's the
Yeah.
problem. Is like, why is it such a need that we have to talk to them? Like, why is this a thing? Like, and to equate it to the Wiggles of all things is just weird in its fucking essence. Like, it doesn't make sense.
They're foot
Yeah,
soldiers. They're foot soldiers for conversion to
Yes.
progressive religion. So children being indoctrinated is the primary goal. with any kind of
number one on their list.
goal. So
No, you're absolutely right. This is Adam's white boy summer right here. This is what he does.
This is who we have, by the way. This is who Adam's working for.
Beautiful people. Jesus Christ.
That's him in the cape, by the way.
I know, dude. He's wearing. It's just so annoying because he's like, we're literally like wearing the regime's like religious flag. Like he's like, it's not even like, it's like the Libertarian Party was supposed to like the whole part that we got into back then was like it's supposed to be counterculture, and they even bragged about this. That like, hey, we're de-wokeified the Libertarian Party, which was like legitimately something they could like actually say at the time. Was like, hey, they're not pushing trans stuff. They're like, they're just getting that stuff out of their like bylaws, and like they got rid of like the race stuff, like anti-racist stuff in their bylaws and stuff, like all this stuff that you're like, okay, cool, like this is actually something that's actually something they can hang up and say like, hey, we took the woke stuff, we got it out of our party, and then but now like that just backfired because now like they literally have a guy that's like walking around with the pride flag, and it's like that is like even if he believes that he's not part of the regime, he's like wearing the regime colors. He is like the embodiment of the regime. I'm
not even thinking about it as a gay thing. Like that's not what that flag means to me anymore.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
And it's insane that he either doesn't understand that or if he's pretending not to understand it.
No, I think that he legitimately thinks that like he's just all in on this kind of identity politics stuff when it comes to the LGBTQ, ABCD, EFG kind of stuff. Like I think that's his fucking squeeze. So he's perfectly good with wearing that out there because, you know, I mean, he is a gay man. So I think he feels, I think he does believe in like a lot of the Marx dogma.
Like, you can be gay and not be like this.
You know, I agree. I agree completely.
Oh yeah, I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying,
of course,
in general.
Yeah, it's Typo he just had a tweet earlier. It was like an hour ago, but it was Chase Oliver is a failed man. He is exactly the type of man the regime wants you to be, the perfect individual. And it's a good tweet. And there's two parts to it where it's like he's the exact type of man the regime wants you to be, and then the perfect individual part. And it's like this perfect individual. Typo's talked about it a lot recently, but that perfect individual, it's an individual in what you're saying, but it's just a regime person. It's a follower of, it's an NPC. Like it basically is. All these guys have this, all these people in general have these same ideas. They fully believe in whatever it is that they think. But they're just following what they're told to follow, and they will continue to do so. So it's like, it's funny that it's the perfect individual, and the perfect individual for the regime is the one that follows everything the regime says, and they play it out time and time again.
Yeah, you have no cultural ties to like where you came from or what your family came from, what they represent. You just adopted like the regime's or
even what this country came from. Like that's the biggest thing is like, even if you take it away from this multicultural, or you see this country as like this multicultural place that embraces different cultures, but we have like our culture and our set of standards that we've had for however long, or at least the idea of what we thought this was, even that's taken away from it. Like we don't even have that basis of, hey, all these people can come in here and be a part of what this country has created. And even that's like, nope, all that stuff is racist, anti-Semitic, it's homophobic, it's transphobic, it's this, that, or the other. It's a phobia of all things that's not. Yeah, I know, right? But you know, and it's just like they all have the same talking points on everything. Here, even with the tweets that you have, the healthcare for trans kids and this, that, or the other. It's the same bullshit that everybody's been talking about in the regime since Trump started getting elected, or started getting primed to be elected. And they were like, oh, we got to pivot because where we were at and where we thought we were at as a country wasn't where we were at, and we're going to lose big time.
So I just I want to read this for the people that are just listening. But by healthcare, and this is just part of a tweet thread. By healthcare, I mean, and this is from Chase Oliver, I mean consulting with doctors and other experts. Love that word, experts. And listening to them. The most common form of care for trans kids is social transitioning, talk therapy, and on occasion, puberty pausing via well-known medicines that are approved for that use. Almost every part of this is wrong. Like almost like number one, like I don't think it's the most common form. I would have to find it. It's kind of hard to find stats on this thing, but it feels like puberty blockers are.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I thought I for some reason I thought that was Adam. No, good for bringing that up. Talk therapy, social transitioning, like as far as I'm aware, it goes straight into like chemical transitioning, like towards surgery. And puberty pausing is not a thing. I mean, it is if you don't take the medicine for that long, but at a certain point, there's no going back. It's like you can't, it's not reversible, and they're pretending that it is. And then via well-known medicines that are approved for that use. I'm going to check this when you guys talk after I'm done saying this. But like, I was researching this, and it seems like they're like, the testosterone blockers are for like prostate cancer treatment, and the same ones, I'm having a hard time confirming this, but I'm pretty sure they're the same ones they use for chemical castrating people in countries where where that's a thing.
Yeah.
So like I don't think these hormones are inherently bad. It's just when you're giving them to children that's bad. Because I'm sure there's uses for adults where they could probably, for like grown women or grown men that may have certain issues, I'm sure that they're necessary for that. But once again, there's no such thing as transitioning children. That's called you've indoctrinated your child into an ideology that is wrong.
Yeah, at least sometimes.
Yeah, do you think that a lot of the moms that do, what's it called, the like Mungshausen by proxy? Is that how you say it? Did I say that right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what I don't know the concept.
It's like basically that. I don't want to say it wrong.
There's
but
something wrong with your kid. They think that there's something.
It's like you placeboed somebody into being sick.
Yeah, the mom believe. Typically, it happens to women, as far as I know. Maybe there's cases with men, but I've always heard it with mothers specifically, where they believe there's something medically wrong with their child, and they keep trying to get them to like these antidotes for whatever the mom believes they have wrong with them, and they keep going to different doctors because the doctors they go to will be like, no, there's nothing wrong with your kid, but then they're like, then they take it to a different doctor and like, no, my kid has whatever made up disease or problem that they have, and it's essentially what's like a lot of this.
Yeah, there's nothing illegal about being like a hypochondriac, and then you can obviously apply that to a child, right? Because it's like, oh no, they're acting in this way. There may not be anything on the blood test or whatever, but you can't really refuse them, treatment or whatever just because there's nothing that necessarily shows up on a test that a doctor can do or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's like the perfect workaround for something like that. And a lot of those, it's not even, if I remember correctly, a lot of those cases aren't necessarily that they truly believe that their kids are sick. It's more about their kids growing up and not needing them as much, and they feel like they have to take care of them. It's a mental disorder in itself. It goes both ways. But now we have the perfect workaround for that, where they can, my girlfriend brought up, go ahead, read that out, Sam. What's that say?
Yeah, so I'm Googling this. I'm not going to use one source because people will want multiple, but so I just Googled it, and I'm showing you OHSU. I don't know what that is, but it's .edu. None of the puberty blocker medications are approved by the FDA to take for gender dysphoria, but they're still commonly used to treat it. They're being used off-label. So I don't know why Chase Oliver is saying that these are approved for that use, but it's insane. Like there's significant overlap in the people who were like, you can't use ivermectin, this safe medication, which has been given billions of doses to humans, because it's being used off-label, when using medicine off-label is very standard for all sorts of medications, and apparently even for children with things to mess with their puberty. This is from Congress.gov, says the same thing. It is an opinion piece. I clicked on that earlier. On Wikipedia, puberty blockers have not received FDA approval for use on children who are Decepticons and are instead issued off-label. Florida Board of Medicine says this means the medicines are not approved by the FDA. Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh, they are not FDA approved for this purpose. Yeah, so no, they're not approved.
Yeah, and it's a little telling that even the FDA, which is part of the regime, is saying hey, this is not approved. We don't approve this shit.
They just haven't approved it. I don't know if they've come out and said it's not approved, but they haven't approved it. So it's just an absence of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the equating it with the ivermectin part is the ivermectin was ivermectin has a lot less significant
side effects.
Yes. It's a very safe medication. That's why billions of doses have been given out for both viral disease and everything.
So what I was going to say is my girlfriend was telling me about, I guess there's this one girl that's really big, one of the transgender people that got really big and has her own show on, I don't know, TLC or something like that. It's called I Am Jazz or something. And she was saying she was one of the not earliest, but I don't know. She was one of the most popular, I guess, that had these puberty blockers and things like that before she hit puberty. And she looks physically feminine or womanesque, and you can't really tell whatsoever. But the show is still going, or has just released an episode recently. And she's sitting there talking to her mom, talking about how she doesn't feel like herself. And she hasn't felt like herself for a while. And her surgery, or bottom surgery and everything like that, hasn't healed properly. And it's given her a lot of problems and this, that, or the other. And her mom is sitting there telling her, it's okay. You've been through this before. You just got to keep going. You know that it's you, this, that, or the other. And people were freaking out about it, because they're like, this is what we've been there's a lot of people that are like, this is what we've been talking about. We don't know the ramifications of what we're doing. We're playing with nature in a way that hasn't been done really in humanity before, or in any other fucking natural state. And we just don't know what is going to come of this. We think the suicide rate now is high for trans people, like just wait in the next 10 to 15 years when these 14, 15-year-olds become 28, 29, 30, and they don't feel like themselves because they're not, and they've done all this to themselves, or
do
at
you guys
least were
mind-
approved by their parents.
Do you guys mind if I put on the tinfoil hat for a second?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
So-
You
love
love
it.
that shit.
All right, so there's a lot of elites, especially in Silicon Valley, that are just openly transhumanist, and they think that there's going to be different stages of human evolution and technology is going to be a part of it. But the problem is in government is that human experimentation is generally illegal. Like at least anything that's like going to be significant. Like, yeah, you can do FDA studies over a 10-year period with a certain medicine, a very limited scope. Other than the vax where all the rules get waived, obviously. But so the trans stuff, it like, I'm not saying they're like directly pushing it, although that's possible. It's like, okay, you let all these guinea pig things happen. You see what the results are with different people and see what works, see what doesn't, that kind of thing. So it's kind of your own little laboratory you've created, essentially, with all these different people. And it's like a legal form of experimentation. And this is highly speculative, of course, but it's something I've thought about. And I'm sure they kind of talk to each other privately about this kind of stuff. Because I don't think a lot of, like, yes, there are true believers, like we've talked about earlier, that, this kind of stuff is their religion. But there's also, like, the more cynical, like, technocrat person who is fine with this kind of stuff because it leads to some kind of quote-unquote scientific bend to it. So just something to think about. Like, I was thinking about this recently.
Yeah, and it opens up doors for other sort of human type experimentation or whatever, that they could just code it in like transgenderism and say, oh, this or whatever. There is like, I mean,
human
probably
mixed
right
with dogs, right, Typo?
Yes, yeah, dude, yeah. Some fucking weird shit, dude. And
some kind of hybrid.
Even if the overall like movement or whatever this is not that, there's definitely like massive incentive going on with like fucked up doctors.
Well, think about the money. Think about the insane cash that's changing hands.
Crazy.
Right now. Like, I don't know how much this surgeries and everything costs. I know cosmetic surgery is expensive. I imagine highly skilled cosmetic surgery is way more expensive than just like a boob job or whatever. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah. There's like even like some sort of fucked up like you see like a bunch of Hollywood actresses and actors that do this. They're like transing their kids and like they make like a whole public spectacle about it. Mm-hmm. One that pointed out to me that I thought was like literally the most fucked up one was actually Basil when he pointed out was it Charlize like Theron or whatever that she's an actress.
Yeah.
Yes, that's her name. And so she's like a South African, like white, and she adopted like 2 or 3 black kids, like African black kids,
and all of them.
And then she transitioned like all of them. And it's like, there's a little bit of like, Jesus Christ, that's like she's like posing as this like, oh, I'm woke, I'm adopting African kids, even though I'm a South African. But at the same time, you're like literally adopted them and then like forcibly change their gender, and it's just like, Jesus Christ,
you're fucking with everything that they know and what's naturally established for them.
Because how do you adopt 3 African kids?
What are the fucking odds of that?
I was just about to say that. What are the chances that?
Like, are you kidding me? And that's like with all these A-list superstars. Megan Fox, her kids are the same way. Could you imagine being Megan Fox's ex-husband or whoever it is? Like, and he just has to, like, I don't know who he is. I don't know who the father of those kids are, but he's not in the fucking limelight that often. I'm sure we could fucking find it. But do you think, like, could you imagine you have no opportunity to fucking change that? You have zero. Like, you have to watch your sons be turned into daughters. I found some of the prices for the bottom surgeries. So female to male bottom surgery can cost anywhere between $6,400 and $24,900. Male to female is about 25,000. And then, so if you go by like,
dude, this surgery isn't even the expensive part.
I know, but wait, I know
$1,000,000.
it's the care afterwards. That's the most expensive part.
It's the longevity.
But could you imagine
years before?
Could you imagine getting the female to male, surgery, and like you're in a group with your other trans kids and everything, or your trans friends, and they're like, "Oh, how much did you pay on yours, fucking Derek?" And he's like 6,400, and they're like, "Oh," and they look at you all weird because they all got the $24,000 surgery.
Man, you got the Kia Forte of fucking penises installed. Me, motherfucker, what color is your Bugatti, bitch? I got the fucking Corvette installed down there, motherfucker. That thing's got a fucking nice little penis wrinkle and everything.
He's got a motor.
You got a nice red Corvette, and the other side's got a fucking hoopty from the hood.
It's like a used one.
It's a used car.
Yeah, they just reach into the cold storage in the hospital to find one to sew on you. This one's slightly used. You get this at a discount for $6,500.
Yeah,
we'll sell that fucker right on.
Is 10,000 to 30, 10,000 to 30,000.
Jesus, at a 40% like suicide rate, they got to be reusing some of them, dude. Come on, like.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
Jesus.
Yeah, what's the deal with the organ donor thing? Like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
Oh. Yeah, I wonder how many trans people are organ donors.
Yeah. Damn, that's a good one. That's a weird one because I've talked about it before on our show. There was like a big bust here in Phoenix like a few years ago. I think Typa was still living here at the time.
Yeah,
but there was it made me take organ donor off my license because of it. Because what got found out was a lot of the EMTs, or not a lot, there was EMTs that were letting people die when they come across whatever, and then transferring the bodies. And when they transfer the bodies, there was doctors that were also letting people die, and they were selling them on the black market. And there was a warehouse, not a small warehouse, like a giant warehouse in central Phoenix, that they had all these body parts from organ donors. And it was found out that they were letting people die. EMTs were letting people die and giving these people to the black market. And doctors were letting people die that were organ donors and giving these to black market donors or like organ fucking people, black market organ people. So it's crazy. It made me take organ donor off my fucking driver's license. Because I was like, fuck that shit. Yeah. But I bet you the same shit happens there.
I heard something like, broadly speaking, a big thing with organ donor stuff is like, okay, say hypothetically tomorrow I was on a motorcycle and, bonked my head and they're like, oh, he's brain dead. Okay, we're going to unplug him. Oh, wait, let's wait 3 days until the organ harvesting team gets here because they can't get, his organs are going to go bad. And then the family gets seated with the freaking, $200,000 bill or whatever. Not that you really have to pay it or whatever, but that's something to consider. So not everything's no good deed goes unpunished, as they say.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to bring us back to Libertarian Party stuff, but I have a really good video, and I just found the part that I want to point out. It's going to be in celebration of our. No, I don't. I don't see it.
It's Jaws. It's Jaws, not Jews. It's Jaws. It looks like it says Jews.
Okay, it might be because my necklace. Okay, I found a video and we have to watch this. I didn't watch it yet, but I know it's going to be good.
Kyle looks like Rabbi Shmuley, also known as Rabbi.
Oh, that's
man!
That's
don't do me like that.
I'm sorry. Too far. Too far.
That's too far. Joking about harvesting transgender kids' organs, that's
yeah.
fine. Calling you Rabbi Shmuley.
Okay, so you guys will understand why I played this.
Business, and guess what? The better employees go to those firms that are more flexible.
All right, now I have another tweet here. I'm going to go through several because, like I said, I feel like with the criticism that's coming out, if I don't do this, I'm not given a fair interview. So this one actually really surprised me. By Real Donald.
No. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I had it. That's not the one I'm looking for.
While you're looking for it, there's
that doesn't surprise me.
The whole thing about Donald Trump, like this is the best thing for Donald Trump, to be honest. Chase Oliver winning was the best thing for Donald Trump.
Sent your way, Chase.
Okay.
And I got hatred just when I announced I was going to be doing it from bigoted people. And I wanted to address it because I think you deserve to be able to address these individuals that are in the party. I'm apologizing in advance. I don't normally share this type of content, but it comes from a
Just wait. You guys will love who tweeted this out.
Person who's had a major platform, both at Libertarian Party events and stuff. And I'm not trying to give him a larger platform, but I think if we don't call this stuff to light, I'm not doing my job as a journalist and host of the show. This comes from Reed Coverdale.
Our boy. So for those listening, Reed had tweeted out, and the visibility was limited on the tweet because it goes against X's hateful conduct. Our boy, the man himself, the naturalist capitalist, Reed Coverdale, had said, I don't care that Chase Oliver is gay. I won't vote for him because he's a faggot.
Wow. That's slur. Those are the only ones that'll get us is the slurs, but that is awesome.
Okay.
And this is the last time he'll ever appear in any way, shape, or form on my content. He says, I don't care that Chase Oliver is gay. I won't vote for him because he's a faggot. When I saw this comment earlier today,
I love that he said it.
I lost my shit. Because that's the attack that people in the Libertarian Party are going to be giving. People that are supposed to be liberty lovers. People that are supposed to be acknowledging that we leave people alone.
Yeah. That shit had 20,000 views and like 800 something likes, and this guy has 149 subscribers to his YouTube channel.
Wonderful.
I
love it.
And let people live their life. Get the F out of the party, Reed. That's my response. But I'm also not a presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate. Can you respond to the people that are making this about your sexuality as you're running for president? Because quite honestly,
that's the
point. It wasn't about your sexuality, and that's
it. Literally wasn't.
These people, I understand.
It's all they have going for them.
Exactly, and I understand that that term was specifically for gay people for a long time in this country, but the 90s fucking threw slurs out the window. I'm just going to tell you guys that now. The 90s, all that stuff went away. Gay, the F slur, so we don't get fucking kicked off YouTube, all this other shit, it stopped being about sexuality, and it was like like retard, same thing. All these things, they didn't mean specifically direction towards those types of people. It took on its own meaning, and they still can't understand that. They won't ever understand it. And even if they do understand it, they will lie through their teeth about understanding it.
Yeah, it's like the NBA came out with like a campaign where it's like, if you're still using gay to mean lame, then you're not cool. Like there was like all those videos.
And everybody was like, that's gay.
It's so gay.
More breath, but I do want to give you the opportunity to address it.
Greg, I don't agree that we should be giving Chase.
So, and Mike Termott has that weird mouth thing. You know how some people only talk out of one side of their mouth, like physically? Watch his mouth when he talks.
An opportunity to respond to that. I think it's bullshit. Okay. I think that you and I know each other well enough by now to know that I'm not going to call something bullshit unless I really mean it. I'm not calling Reed Coverdale an asshole because I've got a problem with what he said. I'm calling Reed Coverdale an asshole because he's not a libertarian. The idea that he should use
the nail in the coffin. He's not a libertarian.
Classic line. Oh, I see what he's saying though. He's taking the form of the sentence and he's putting it back in.
Yeah, like that in public suggests to me that he's got bad taste. The idea that he should use a concept like that in public suggests to me that he's not
got bad taste. Look at this guy's suit, man. Look at his crappy fucking suit.
And to be honest with you, you hit that nail on the head. He should get the hell out of the party. And I'm not going to let Chase answer that question.
Well,
I'm not going to let you ask me a question about my sexuality. If someone out there has a problem with me being straight, they're going to have to say it to my face.
Dude, Chase like wanted to respond, and he's like, "I'm not letting Chase do it." Like a white man standing between a black guy and
the white savior complex right there, dude. This is the gay savior complex right there.
Yeah, and he doubled down.
I do want to say this though.
It doesn't deserve your response.
You're right. It's a tactless thing, and frankly, for every one person like that who leaves this party, we're going to recruit 10 more, or 15 more, or 20 more, because people want an environment in their politics rooted in empathy, rooted in human respect for other people, rooted in human kindness for other people. And nobody wants to be attracted to something like that. That's not how you grow a movement. Tearing other people down is not how you build something up. Okay, that's lesson number one in your life. But here's the truth: have I been called the F slur before? Yeah, I have. And guess what? It rolls off me like water off a duck's back, because only ignorant people come to you with that kind of bigotry. It's irrational.
I don't know what ignorant means then. No, I know all about you. I know all about this stuff. That's why I said it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
see, I didn't watch that yet.
You get 20 voters. You get 20 voters. You're gonna get 20 recruits. Like, like just shut the fuck up.
Dude, he sucks.
Yeah. They're not going to grow the party, and if they do somehow grow the party, it's not with libertarians. It's going to be Democrats that feel afflicted for Joe Biden.
It's crazy. Are you even a libertarian, Max? Most people that come on the podcast aren't, but like you've just been in the context of this thing for the whole time. It's usually not like this. This is just a big day.
Yeah, we're usually not. Yeah, obsessed about the libertarian shit.
I would say I have read Rothbard, all the good Hoppe, all the good stuff. Love it. Love the writing. I just think I've just grown away from ideology in general the past few years, especially since COVID. And I would say libertarianism is good in certain contexts for a country, in certain states of being and homogenous populations, but we can be libertarian with our friends, but we're under the thumb of a hostile regime and hostile institutions. So these are all things to consider. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be a dick to anybody who says they're libertarian or anything. I mean, I would, I classify myself as like dissident right or whatever, but that's not really a hard and fast ideology itself or anything. So
I like a lot of the people on the dissident right, but it also kind of seems like that's, and this isn't a knock on you, but it just seems like a lot of people are kind of flock and do it because it's a little bit, it's kind of like the new hotness, right? Like, because
it's the new libertarianism.
Yeah, right. Basically, you could say you're a libertarian without having to carry all that baggage with you. And I think, like, I get it, but it's also not like clearly defined what a dissident right winger is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different
there's no
Like
there's no specific, and it's such a fractious thing.
Exactly.
Of the whole, like the people I've become friends with a lot of different people, including Sam, since I started getting into this stuff, and it's like
I'm surprised Sam found a friend.
I'm friend. Just one. But it's like, all right, I'm making friends with ortho bros. I'm a Catholic myself. I know. But
oh man,
all these different groups, and it's like, but even at the end of the day, it's like, will I kiss the Pope's feet? Like, no, you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. It's hard to imagine all of these different groups like finding a village together in Appalachia and like living together, Mormons, Catholics, and everything. So I don't really know what the future really holds for the kind of thing, but like I would like people to kind of get together that believe in a similar kind of belief system, but it's gonna be tough, is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the dissident.
I think that's kind of where everybody is.
Like, there's no real leader or organization.
There's some people that claim they're leaders, but I don't want to get lumped in with the dissident right if people are calling it an ideology, by the way, because I disagree with most of the people in the dissident right on most stuff. I mean, I think a little bit the I think the biggest single thing for the dissident right is respect for tradition. And what that means is that there's a lot of people who are super racist, which is fine. I don't care. I'm not. Like, I'm just not. I'm not saying that as
same.
like, I'm not a racist. I'm a good white guy. It's like, no, I'm just not racist. I'm just being honest. I'm not. It doesn't fit into my worldview. But I don't care if you are.
One of my biggest problem with the dissident right is like the purity spiraling thing. That's probably more of an issue with Twitter, but it's like
the libertarians here all over.
They're
again.
like, oh, you like, I live in a city. I live in the East Coast city. Like, oh, what the hell are you doing? Why aren't you living on a homestead with chickens and like, cradling your gun at night? It's like, that kind of shit.
It's kind of what I noticed with a lot of dissident right-wingers. Like, oh, well, you know what? You're not dissident right enough, so therefore you need to read our preferred literature and live in the way that we want, just the same way that libertarians are going to tell you you need to live the way that I want you to live and read the literature that I want you to read.
Yeah, that has not been my experience at all.
Well,
like, I'm like in this shit, you know?
It's the way that I see a lot of people interact on Twitter. So like, I had Ryan Stone on earlier today and we were talking about the concept of frame. I know that's Sam's best friend, but
dude, I literally don't care at all. I don't.
I know. I'm just messing with you a little bit.
He's getting angry. Look at him.
Yeah, I know he's good.
He's gonna turn green.
But like this whole. But like what a lot of people do when it comes to like political ideology or like when you talk about politics is that like people will be like, oh, well, if the Democrats say this, then I'm just going to do the exact opposite. Okay, well, are you like a principled person, or do you have beliefs that you kind of guide your worldview, or are you just opposite whatever people are telling you to do? Because like if the Democrats said shitting is good for you, or you guys can say, oh, well, it looks like I'm just going to hold it in. Like, let's at least be somewhat realistic, because I see a lot of people just reflexively taking the opposite approach of everything that
this
like
is
their
so true in like
does.
Especially like foreign policy shit. It's just like I mean, I've grown up in the DMV, so I know all of these like Raytheon people and all of this, and it's like, are there a lot of scumbags and like war profiteers and like shitbags? Sure, but it's like, are there a decent amount of people in the State Department or other place that know what they're talking about? Sure. It's just the problem now is like you're not getting these really effective people in high up cabinet positions and other like bureaucratic positions, and that's why a big reason everything's atrophying. So, but there's still like, just because the Democratic platform is something about Myanmar or something doesn't mean you should run in the opposite direction. So,
me and Luke the same thing from the military perspective. It's like we were both in the Sam too. We were all in the Marine Corps, and like generally speaking, like all the people in the Marine Corps are in there generally for the good reasons, or they're not like, we're going to go to war and slaughter everyone. Like that's not their mindset in any way, shape, or form. So anyone that like disses on like the entire military is like, it's like, dude, they're not like that. That's not their mindset at all. It's the higher echelons that they have no control over that are doing it.
Yeah. You know what? My biggest problem that I had coming into now, where we're at now, is like, it seems like there hasn't ever been any room for redemption for people, like these people that don't subscribe to the way that you believe or whatever, or the way that we believe. Like, it was just like, nope, they're done. They'll never be a part of us, so we can't let them ever be a part of the military. When Typo was first coming in, that seemed like the boogeyman when we were first coming in. We got shit on. We were just called baby killers all the time. And Typo and I were just like, we sat in Okinawa and got fucking hammered. Like, I don't know what you want from me, my guy. And like, there's never been like this push of, well, we need to tell these people these things, and there has to be some redemption for these people that when they come into these ideals, or when we teach them about those ideals, we can't just fucking destroy their whole idea and expect them to just catch on with us right away, because that's not how it works. It's like the joke was always, you're a libertarian, you're a minarchist for 6 months and then you become an anarchist. Like there's like a progression to everything. And there's never been, and I see it with the dissident right a lot now too, where it does the same things, where it's just like, there's no redemption for anybody unless you're doing it exactly the way the most pure person can do it. And it's like, all right, well then that's just not, it's not feasible.
I think what's frustrating is once you actually, this is not to come off as elitist or whatever, but it's like the GOP politics becomes so grating and insufferable after you actually kind of figured out what's going on. Not that I know everything that's going on or whatever, but like generally how power works and all that. And then you're like watching these disasters play out in slow motion. And it's just like, of course, all of these people are kind of like going crazy that start doing all this reading. Cause it's like so much easier just to like believe the system, you know, a bill is passed on Capitol Hill and all this other bullshit. Like, it's just so much easier to stay in that frame than be like, okay, you need to read this 1,000-page book about the unelected, unaccountable bureaucracy, and that's step one. And then, like, it's like, I don't fault anyone for not going down the rabbit hole with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it becomes very frustrating. Just like the normie politics. Just I can't even listen to the radio anymore. Like honestly, I can't listen to MSNBC. I can't listen to the radio. It's just like so grating to me now.
I agree. Like, a lot of this stuff it's just tiring at a certain extent.
Yeah, any like political movement that happens, it's like the most radical people start to get to the front. So like with libertarians, it's like, I guess, anarchist or the most individual or whatever it is. And the dissident right, it's like, I have to be the most racist, anti-Semite possible. And if you're not exactly lined up with that, then you're not really dissident right or whatever. I think it's the same way with any political, whatever, market or movement, whatever you want to call it.
The smallest portion has the loudest voice because they do it every time.
And this is
you see it with left wing
social media. Social media is guiding politics now. So like I joke about being a centrist on that just to like really fuck with like communists that find our stuff and everything, just because it just pisses them off to no end. Because they're like, oh, like they hate centrists and libertarians more than they hate dissident right. Because they're like, I don't know. There's some weird psychology, maybe brother psychology kind of shit going on with that. I don't know, but
and you know, I'm all for shitting on the person. Like I get that stuff. I just think it's more when like I guess more what I was talking about specifically is like when people are coming into some of these things, they just get shit on because they have like, you know, the bare minimum beliefs. They got the libertarian light beliefs. Like that's always how we worded it. And then it was just like, dude, they're on their way. Just give them a little bit of time. You don't have to fucking make them hate you and then go back to the left or go back to just the right. And I just feel like that happens a lot. But when it's a full-on commie that's like, hey, we need to, you know, make Leninism and Stalinism rise again in the West. It's like, yeah, you could go fuck yourself. I'll fight you for it. Like, let's go.
Yeah. I try to be nice to as many people as I can that I run into and let pretty much anybody who's not communist shitbag, I'm nice to. Because it's also just, I think Twitter, as much as it is like this awful like bomb throwing platform, it does actually make it. But it does make it better. Yeah, but you also get rewarded if you're like, don't do that too. If you're like more friendly and just like a bro, I found more success like doing that too.
Yeah, I would say if like meeting people, you're better. But for like clicks and likes and like views and reshares, it's a lot better.
Yeah, my most viral tweets were usually making fun of Tim Pool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so I want to say most of my most viral ones were either making fun of John Zerka, Tim Pool, or women's prefrontal cortex. Those were probably like the three things. They got me the most shit.
Dunking on women definitely gets you a lot of followers on Twitter. So
I like to call women ribs.
That's a good one.
Like, why is a rib talking to me right now?
Whoever the latest scapegoat is like, that'll get you so many likes. Doesn't matter who it is.
If you call Tim Pool a stupid Jew, then that will usually get you a decent bit of engagement. I thought it was so funny when he was on his show and he was like, he's just like saying it super calmly. He's like, I'm neutral on the Israel-Palestine issue, but I just keep getting Shabbos Goy in my mentions. Oh my god, I don't know. Like he just seemed like so like jacked off about it. I'm like, yeah, that just made me want to go type in his replies. Shabbos Goy.
But there are people like this is one thing I noticed. Well, not from the dissident right, but like other people, because I haven't experienced that at all. Everyone's been very welcoming to me, and I'll straight up say I'm like, I don't have a lot of these other extreme opinions that, well, extreme from a certain perspective, but like they will accuse anybody of being Jewish. Like everybody is.
I've seen that.
Like the
It's hilarious.
Groypers.
The Groypers.
Oh, the
Everybody
Groypers are
Jewish.
bad. Yeah, well, the
Like,
Groypers like shit coat shit. They shit coat pretty much any issue by default. So like anytime you see some, I see this all the time, and there's like bigger numbers of Groypers that get assloads of interaction that like shock the hell out of me, where they'll get tons and tons of it'll just be a picture like Nick Fuentes saying you are Jewish. I'm like, look, like it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's pretty bad optically.
Well, I just find it hilarious because it's like you can go the route
They're not trying
of
to be
like
funny. Just to be clear.
explain. Well, yeah, but you can go the route of like trying to explain the cabal and like how the elites are connected and who's actually pulling the levers of power. And like, yes, there's a lot of Jewish people that are doing that. Or you could just like anyone that goes against your narrative, you're Jewish. You can just the low IQ, the very low IQ version of that is like, you're Jewish. Shut up.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's like
It's memeable.
It's the fucking graph all over again, dude.
Shabbos Goy.
The midwit meme.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so fucking funny. I don't know. There's a lot going on. It's kind of like what Max said earlier. Like it's just a weird election year. It's just a weird year in general. And I'm here for the content. You know, talking about it's easy or it wins more hearts and minds kind of when you're just kind of like the bro that's just talking about it. It's like even Toad is in our fucking group chat. And he was like, yeah, I was pretty congenial with all these people, or not congenial. He was like, I was pretty like,
no, he said
nice to all these.
It's not what he meant.
Did he say
meant,
congenial?
He meant cordial, I think.
Yeah, he meant
say
cordial.
congenial. Maybe he was making.
Yeah, okay, that's why it was stuck in my head. It was cordial. He was like, I was pretty cordial with everybody, and everybody was pretty cordial with me. But on Twitter, I'm fucking intense all the time, and it's like, yeah, that's where it's weird, right? Like we don't have Twitter, and these things reward kind of like the hate porn. And like just media in general kind of rewards like the hate porn, but then all these people get in the same spot, except fucking, I guess Jeremy Kaufman was going pretty ham at the convention. But you know, a lot of these people, it's
Jewish.
just like, is he really?
Yep.
Yeah, his name's Kaufman.
I didn't know Kaufman was a Jewish name.
Yeah, he's one of my
Neither did
favorite
I.
Jews. Him, Spike Cohen, Rosie
I
O'Donnell.
knew Spike Cohen was. He looks Jewish.
Well, Cohen's a super Jewish name.
Yeah, but you know, it's just it's
What?
like
Damn.
Typo doesn't know Jews like you do, Sam. And he looks the most Jew
I
on
know
this
last
podcast.
names. I know last names for like a lot of different cultures. I just know like the patterns in the names and the languages.
That's why I
like to
think
guess.
so many like boomer cons are all like boomer cons in like middle America are always like, you know, Israel's for the chosen people. It's because they don't hang out with Jews. They don't know Jews. And
Well, to be fair, I don't know that many Jewish people either, to be completely honest with you.
know
There's like
one-ish.
there's a big concentration of Jewish people in Squirrel Hill, which is probably about 45 minutes to an hour away from me. And like when you go
Such
down
a
there and you
funny
see people with
place
the
for them to
Yeah, there's some
Sounds
Jews
fun.
over there on the Squirrel Hill past the hickory tree.
Well, it's a gorgeous area, and that's actually where that synagogue was that got shut up here in Pittsburgh.
God,
I remember driving through there and seeing the yarmulkes everywhere. I'm like, holy fuck, this is like them in their natural habitat.
Yeah.
Kyle's like, I don't know many Jews, but I still fucking hate them. Like,
Fuck you, man! I remember my stepdad was taken. I think he was with me, my mom, and my wife when we were going to Pittsburgh. I'm like, oh my god, look, there's a Jew. And then Scott was like, oh, those are God's chosen people. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not liking it.
We can't get into that, but like that's not a thing. Like that's what they think. That's what everybody thinks, though. Like, how did that get imported? Like, they're not.
The Schofield Bible.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the tweet where I challenged freaking what's his name.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say like that was we were talking like most liked tweets, and I was like that was my most liked tweet, and it was definitely like hate porn. Like I was like, this is the most low estrogen group of people, or this is the highest estrogen group of people sitting at a table that I've seen, and they all call themselves men or something like that. And then Sam challenged them to a fight. That'd be fun. We should find like a group of lefties that are actually about it. That'd be fucking fun.
It's this picture. So if you're just listening, it's a picture of Joshua Reed Eagle. I hate his face. And him and his 6 friends sitting at a table, and they all look like soy jack memes. And so I quote tweeted it and said, I would like to volunteer myself and my co-hosts on 5 till midnight for a cage match with these 7, our 5 against your 7. DM for terms. Losers never go to a libertarian event or call themselves libertarians again. And we are still
and
waiting.
then Chase Oliver won.
Yeah, that is what happened.
Yeah, and then Rex from like our comments, he's in there. He said he would give us Joe Rogan level commentary for the fight. So we already have a commentator. Huh? We're ready. I'm about it. This is called Typo Frankie Muniz.
Wait, no, he said bottom left. I thought he was talking about the picture of Eagle.
Oh, I thought he was talking about Typo.
Eagle looks like a pedo.
He does have that physiognomy. I mean, let's just say
he does.
Yeah. He does.
Hey, not everyone with a mustache is a pedophile, but every pedophile has a mustache.
But we got to cleanse. We got to cleanse here at the end.
Yeah, timeline cleanse time.
Timeline cleanse with some WBS Apparel. They sponsor a bunch of people in the distant right. Most of my friends, because most of my friends are in the distant right, but not you guys, but the other guys. And they have a bunch of great shirts. Friends. The Pepe hat? No, I don't. I'm a lone wolf. I was a lone wolf, and now I'm just gonna do the whole hangover. Yeah, soy jacks on the T-shirt. Love these. These are some of my favorites. It's Napoleon. This was made for what? That guy, he does like history content.
Yeah, our friend Napoleon Bonaparte.
Bonaparte.
This is sponsor of my podcast. This is frickin' JD Sturker wearing the Put It Back WBS Apparel shirt. Like, put your
Adam
back.
Just got it. It looked good on him. He was lifting some weights. Showed us the picture. It's on his TL, so you can go look at that if you want to see somebody else not quite as jacked as this guy and how it looks.
You got the Amerikaner with the Celtic cross tattoo. Nice. Yeah. It's a mix of the German and the Catholic. That's throwing me off a little bit, but that's fine. Gatekeep always. The story behind this one is funny. Like this was for that game, right?
So, well, we're sponsoring Archcast, and he started. The Gatekeepers have been a section of Warhammer because the commies have been infiltrating it, trying to wokeify, turn it to shit, and everything. So you got to protect your hobbies, otherwise it'll just become a lefty hobby, just like Dungeons and Dragons and other nerd stuff like that. But you got to protect it.
Wasn't there like people who like took this and like thought it was related to something else and they were like really mad about it? What was that about?
Yeah, there was all of the communist Warhammer people on Twitter attacked us, but then they got destroyed because all the other Warhammer people just this one guy he replied to us and was like, if you wear this at a tournament, I'll forfeit because I'm not going to violate my values and let you wear that shirt. And it was the worst ratio I've ever seen in my life. The dude got quoted like hundreds of times. They're like, dude, you're a total fucking pussy. And it was my yes, I have a black friend. My black friend is wearing this shirt. And they're like, oh, so you're just a racist, you know, but just being ironic or whatever. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
But what were
that
they
was the
mad
most
about?
fun.
Like, what is
they were mad
about the shirt?
They were mad because Games Workshop is trying to like add in females to the lore, to the different characters and shit like that without even adjusting the like OC in like books. So they're trying to like
with the lore.
They're screwing with the lore essentially.
But why were the commies mad about this T-shirt? Like, what is offensive?
Because they don't like Arch because they know he's like based and cool. But yeah, but
cool,
they also
cool
are just
guy.
like
Not allowed.
yeah, cool, angry white male like all of us.
Yeah,
you know? Good dude, and
good dude.
they're like, oh, so you're saying that trans people aren't allowed to play Warhammer? That's why it pisses them off or whatever.
But like,
that's why how they interpret it.
That.
No,
right?
We're saying don't fuck with the story. Don't fuck with the, don't fuck with the game. Like keep it what it's supposed to be.
Who cares?
Like everybody can enjoy it. Just don't fuck up the story. Don't fuck up the like. You're destroying it. Like don't do that.
Yeah. Like what they did with The Witcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many different ones. Yeah.
Star
Wars.
Dude,
there's just like not. They don't even make good movies. Like, there's not even that many good movies that come out anymore just because everything has to.
It's the law.
Yeah. That's the Good Old Boys.
Yeah.
Good Old Boys one.
Shout out Good Old Boys, Marblek and Bog Beef. I'm going on their show. I'm going on their show later this week to do some stuff on, what is it? Some freaking it doesn't matter. It's some anthropology crap. Nobody cares besides
I thought Sam was gonna
Sam, I care.
Oh, it's about the new NAGPRA regulations and their implications. The new like
I thought Sam was gonna start sounding like fucking Rechtenwald there. Break it down.
Never mind.
Just got to bail on the sentence.
I gotta
WBS Apparel.
That's what I want to share.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Fuck yeah.
So yeah, I did Max's plugs for him. I mean, you can also plug whatever else, but I'll follow me on MySpace.
I hate you so much.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter if anybody that's listening wants to merchandise. That's been some of our biggest success so far. Just shoot me a DM or there's a contact form on the website if you don't have Twitter as well. So yeah, just hit us up.
Hell yeah, man.
Awesome.
So yeah, you can find me, Common on Twitter. My band, Common Crown, is going to be opening up for Hinder next month. So if you're in the southwestern Pennsylvania area, come check us out.
Hell yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. I have David Patrick Harry coming on my show on Wednesday. That'll be a fun one. I just had Ryan Stone on today. That was a lot of fun.
Almost
and
how can
so yeah, my show's called Liberty and Health, 2 days a week. Cognitive Vigilance Thursday nights. I don't think we're going to have one this Thursday. And then obviously here every Monday at 8 p.m.
You can find us at Biting the Bullet Pod on the I fucking love Unfit Statesman.
Yeah,
I wiped too hard. Now it's bleeding. Help me.
Come on whenever. Come on whenever you can. Please.
Yeah, he's a busy guy. But yeah, you can find me at Keep It Real Luke on Twitter. Find our podcast on Twitter as well at Biting the Bullet Podcast or Pod, one of those two. You'll find us. It's got 3 mongoose on it. And then Typo and I will be doing a show this week. I don't know if we have a guest yet, but we'll see. And then other than that, that's it.
Yeah, and I'll do my plug and then Adam's. Illegitimate Scholar. I just did an awesome episode I just released with Glass Delusions on astrology, history, and Bitcoin. She brought up Göbekli Tepe out of nowhere. I was blown away by this conversation. This stuff was so cool. So listen to that. If that interests you, you can find Adam by reaching Chase Oliver's campaign phone. He's working there now, and we'll give you updates on him, like, periodically. He's going to be busy. He's going to be traveling in the RV with Chase as his personal rent boy,
backdoor manager.
What am I kidding? His rent boy. No, Adam would dominate the crap out of Chase Oliver. Yeah, so that's it. That's the shit show. Just kidding. Sorry, I took your guys' thing.
That's fine. It works everywhere.
All right. Good.